Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Tucker Rhetoric. I want to address the recent events that have taken place in Minnesota, in the United States. And I want to start off with this quote from Malcolm X. He says, "The media is the most powerful entity on earth. They have the power to make innocent guilty and to make the guilty innocent. And that's power because they control the minds of the masses." What the media is doing and how they are portraying and handling this situation is number one, dangerous, and just flat out dishonest. All right. What happened in Minnesota, this woman was absolutely in the wrong. 100%. All right. Let's back it up and let's give a simpler example. All right. We have police. Police are there to enforce the laws. All right. Within a country, as a judicial system, they have police officers, they have courts, they have prisons, probation systems, um, and they enforce the laws. You have legal and illegal activity. And just to make sure that we're clear, again, let's define. All right. Legal is something that is permitted, allowed, or recognized by law. These are the rules and regulations that are set by the government. All right. If you're doing legal activities, you're following the rules and regulations. Now, illegal. This is something that is prohibited or forbidden by law. These are actions that violate the rules and regulations that are set by the government. The consequences could include fines, arrest, it could be probation, or imprisonment. All right? We all know this. It isn't some surprise, it isn't something new. And when you are a small child, adults in your family or teachers or people around you teach you right and wrong. There are things that you do and there are things that you don't do. There are things that you should do and there are things that you should not do. All right? So for you to think that it is okay to get in your car, to block off the road when federal agents are going to act out an arrest warrant, you must be out of your mind. Then they tell you to get out of the car and you decide to hit an agent with your car. Now, this is when I'm going to go back to the media because the people who are on a certain side, they are so anti the Trump administration that they will lie, and no matter what he does, it's bad. Okay, even if it's good, it's bad. All right. Between 2001 and 2021, 2024 is estimated by the CBP. This is the U.S. Customs and Border Protection, that between 5 to 7 million illegal immigrants have come into the country. Now, in the media, they'll say things like, we support the immigrants. They're not immigrants. They're illegal immigrants. There's a big difference. These are individuals who are violating the rules and regulations set by the government. All right? If I have a neighbor, me and my neighbor are cool, he's a nice guy, but he engages in some illegal activity. I'm not connected to it. It's just that's what he does. Well, one day I'm sitting in my driveway and I look and I see police, 4 or 5 police cars. The lights are flashing. They're coming up the street and they're going to go to his house. They have an arrest. They have a warrant for his arrest. Well, I don't want them to arrest my neighbor. So I'm going to take my car. I'm going to pull out into the street and block the street off. And then when the police come in front of the car and tell me to get out of the car, I'm going to hit one of the police officers with my car. Tell me, what do you think is going to happen? All right? For me, growing up as a teenager, when I first started driving, and you know, if you're driving, you may have to have more interaction with the police. I was taught by the adults in my family, when the police pull you over, you see the lights, you pull over immediately. Make sure it's safe, you know where you can pull over. You pull over, you turn the car off, you roll your window down, you have your license and registration ready, and your hands are at 10 and 2 o'clock on the steering wheel. You are respectful. You do not raise your voice or argue. It's yes, sir, no, sir, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, and try to have a normal civil discussion. If they decide to write me a ticket, take the ticket, and now I'll get to go to court and try to figure it out from there. I am not going to argue and yell and be disrespectful because this is just absolutely stupid. Now, the media is showing you this incident from one angle, which looks like the officer is standing in front of the car. She drives forward and swerves to the right, and he opens fire. That is not what happened. All right? And they are only showing you one angle. They did the same thing with the George Floyd situation. They only showed you 6 or 7 minutes of what happened when there was more than 20 minutes of body footage. They don't show you when George Floyd was in the police car and was saying, please let me out the car. I want to lay on the ground. They tell you when he was saying mama, he was calling for his mother. He wasn't. He was calling his girlfriend. He used to call her mama. There's a video for years before when he got arrested where he was saying mama. But they want you to believe a certain story. Remember, they have the power to control the minds of the masses. They take politicians who speak. If you don't like a politician, you're not going to watch him speak. All right? If you don't like Trump, you're not going to sit and watch a whole Trump speech. You're not, period. If you don't like Kamala or somebody on the other side, you're not going to watch them speak. So what you're going to do is you're going to use your media outlet that you like or that agrees with your views. They're going to give you clips of what that person said, and they're going to portray it in a certain way. All right? They're going to twist their words, and this is exactly what they're doing with this situation. But this is very dangerous because you are inciting violence and you are motivating people to attack federal agents. Okay? ICE is it's the Immigration and Customs Enforcement. When there are laws, they have to be enforced. Remember, I told you international law is not real because there is no enforcement. All right, but laws in America are real. They have a judicial system. Okay, they have jails and cops and courts, so it's real. You pay fines. So this is a federal agency under the Department of Homeland Security, which has existed since 2003. All right? They are not doing anything new that they haven't been doing before. Now, I'm not saying ICE is running perfectly and smoothly. They have made some bad, decisions with some of the stuff they've done. And so hopefully they can clean some of that up. However, it doesn't give me the right to go block off the street and ram one of them with my car. Then they say they're covering their faces. This is a perfectly normal thing. When they didn't have their faces, they didn't have their faces covered at first. So why did they start covering their faces? Because you were finding out who they are, going to their houses, harassing their families, trying to attack them. This is crazy. You are wrong. All right? There's right and wrong. You're wrong. You don't agree with it because you have this whole we love everybody thing that you're trying to do. That's fine. You can feel that way. If you don't agree, protest. Make signs and scream and yell and do all that. That's perfectly okay. You have every right to do so under the law. That is legal. You can do that. You cannot interfere and stop federal agents from arresting individuals. Are you out of your mind? All right? Again, my next door neighbor, the feds are coming to arrest him, and I'm like, nah, y'all ain't going in there. Like, bro, what are you thinking about? And then again, what do you think is going to happen? All right? I grew up in a time where everybody didn't have these cameras, and so you want to act crazy with the police, you're going to catch your issue. All right? And then it's going to be their word against yours. And why you so beat up? Because you attacked them or you tried to resist, and good luck trying to fight it in court. So you best to be respectful, humble, keep it cool, and you go on your way, I can go on my way. The other thing that we're not taking into consideration is have some empathy, all right? You don't understand all the things that police have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. Trying to keep your society safe, trying to help you. Everybody hate the police until something happens, then you need the police. So this is a thankless job where you're demonizing these people and blowing everything out of proportion. It's completely crazy. Same thing with the media does when if a white police officer shoots a black man for something that the black man probably did that warranted him getting shot, a lot of these times. And then it's all about racism. It was just purely racism. That's the whole thing to the story. And you're not really telling what's actually happening. What you're trying to do is get people angry and outraged, and then they start acting a dang on fool. All right. So I just want to say this: what the media is doing is absolutely wrong. They're lying to you. Look what they did with COVID. All right. They're showing you this altercation from one angle, which makes it look like the woman just drove forward and veered off to the right and he shot her. That's not what happened. You need to look. Officer Tatum has a good video where you can see it from different angles. But you can see that she clearly hits this man with her car, and then he opens fire. Other people are like, well, you could have shot the tire, or why you don't shoot him in the knee. By the time we get to the point where a police officer has drawn his gun, we're past shooting you in the knee. All right? You were told, get out of the car. What are you doing? Get out of the car. You already are wrong for blocking off the road. Like, what are you thinking about? What did you think was going to happen? You thought you were going to pull up with your SUV and block off the road, and federal agents were going to be like, oh, well, we can't go anywhere because this lady's here, so let's just go back to the base. And like, what are you talking about? Also, between 2021 and 2024, it's estimated by the CBP, this is the Customs and Border Protection, that between 5 to 7 million illegal immigrants have come into the country. Now, the media and politicians are saying things like, we support the immigrants. ICE is just out here just shooting immigrants and arresting anybody. All right, now in some cases they have arrested the wrong people. So like I said, I'm not defending them like that. But what I am saying is they're federal agents, and you do not have a right to interfere in the arrest of police officers or federal agents. And a federal agent, that's a step above dealing with police officers. Also, they try to portray them as just these hooligans with masks on where you can't see their face. They're covering their faces because of what you all have been doing, finding out who they are, harassing their families, and threatening their lives, and all of this other crazy stuff. And this is very common in other places where police officers who do gang units or special forces, they cover their faces for their own safety. As we can see, they clearly need to. And you are arguing in defense of illegal immigrants. These are people who are breaking the law. They entered the country illegally. All right? They should be deported because they are there illegally. Now, some of these people are criminals who you're defending. This is just chickens for KFC. It's like, what are y'all talking about right now? This makes no sense. And this is why I've said, and I'll say it again and again, I have no loyalty to any political party or politician. My loyalty is to logic, reasoning, common sense, science, reality. All right? These are the things that I would feel more loyal to. So just to sum it up, the media, what you're doing is extremely dangerous. And the people who are out here crazy protesting and all of this, y'all need to slow down and step back and look at yourselves. All right? You're inciting violence. You're attacking federal agents because they are doing their job, which is to serve warrants for people who are illegally in the country. Illegal. And then you go on TV and say, immigrants. Or ICE agent kills a U.S. citizen. That's the story. That's what happened. That's the whole thing. All right? You don't say a woman drove her car into an ICE agent and he opened fire in self-defense. That you can't tell that story because it doesn't fit your narrative. I hate saying that word, narrative. So listen, there's right, there's wrong. There's legal, there's illegal. 7 million illegal people in your country is not good for your country. Look at all the I'm gonna do a separate video about this, about the fraud that went on in the same state, all right, where they have swindled somewhere between 800 million to $1 billion tax dollars. This is money that could have actually went to help people who really need it. And these people are doing fraud and stealing money. You have people who are in the U.S. on a student visa who ain't studying. You got people who have come into the U.S., they've been given U.S. citizenship in some expedited way, and now they're committing crimes and have a criminal record. Okay? I'm here in the Czech Republic. So I move over here to Czech Republic. I'm given Czech citizenship, and then I'm committing crime after crime after crime. I should be sent up out of here. All right? Plain and simple. So I don't really understand what y'all are so mad about when federal agents are trying to deport illegal immigrants who have broken the law by coming into the country illegally. Just to close it, please do not trust the media. Look at different sources. They are not telling you the truth. And these politicians are even worse. And this is dangerous because these stupid people get in crowds. And as soon as you get into a crowd, it is a fact or a well-known phenomenon that your level of intelligence drops because now you feel, invincible. All right, look at what happened with the Black Lives Matter protest. This is crazy too. That'd be another topic to talk about. But you all out here screaming Black Lives Matter if the police shoot a black man, but black people shooting each other in the thousands, tens of thousands, and nobody say nothing about that. They shooting kids, and nobody say nothing about that. The same leaders that's on the TV screaming about racism when half the time the situation ain't nothing to do with racism. So it's really dirty what y'all are doing, and it's really dangerous what you are doing. Wake up, people, please.